TV. You are highly welcome to the headquarters of CMTV here in Buea, Cameroon. We want to greet all of you who have been partnershiping with us as silent viewers and those who have been contributing to this program to make it a success, especially those who have been going online to follow our programs on CMTV Buzz, that is on YouTube precisely. So I want to say if you want to get most of our programs, go on YouTube, CMTV Buzz, that is the Buzz is B-U-Z-Z. Then you get our programs across views, pivotal issues, and other programs. Thank you very much for staying faithful. Today we have two gentlemen as usual, including you out there who is watching, to analyze things here. And I want to first of all welcome Mr. Njomo Cyril. You are highly welcome to another edition of Crossviews.
Thanks, Mr. Mwambo Williams. Good evening, dear televiewers. It's a delight to know that you are seated in your comfort to follow us here. We would also like that you should please get a jotter and prepare your text message so that together we should make the program a live one. Again, permit me extend my usual farewell greeting with a lot of excitement to Dr. Busi Ernest, my co-panelist, that despite his busy schedule in the university and in other assignments, he still make it possible for this program, and it's an opportunity again to thank him for sharing the platform with me. I would equally like to extend this time with a lot of appreciation my regards to all the men and ladies behind cameras. It's a whole team, and you need to be here to live what they go through to give you the beautiful sounds and images that you will receive back home. Mr. Mwambo, if I end this process without thanking you that have made me one of your faithful panelists on the platform, I will be disrespecting your honor. No, permit me, Mr. Mwambo, once is not forbidden to say thank you for inviting me once more.
Yes, I want to come to you as a politician, one of the American politicians, the U.S. ambassador to Cameroon, Ambassador Peter Henry Ballerin, has left, and somebody who came to Cameroon, so many people were thinking that he has come to divide Cameroon and all his utterances and so on. But at the end, he smiled with Biya and he has decided to leave.
Utterances. It came out of your question. I will look into your question in two folds. The first one is the international relation, what we call diplomacy, between Cameroon and the country of Uncle Sam, the United States of America. And the second fold, we talk about U.S. gendarme role as far as human rights is concerned. Yeah. What you have titled or you have termed utterances. So in the first aspect is the long-lasting. From pre-colonial era, we have known that the United States, through the Britain, first came to Africa, discover, and I will not take us back to the mainstream of history, but we have been keeping a lot of relationship. And so Henry Ballerin, who has spent 3 years in Cameroon, actually is somebody that have steadfast in the relationship, protecting the interests of his home country. Yeah. That was the first thing. Personally, I have admired his stay in Cameroon. So many Cameroonians have benefited from a lot of United States projects. For example, the Youth Leadership Initiative Project, YALI. So many symposium has been organized, including the one that our landed panelists on the platform attended some years ago. If it was not last year, it was in 2019 or so. So some of those projects, a lot of young Cameroonians have benefited, and we can only thank the outgoing ambassador Henry for that. That was, of course, maintaining the interest. He has also worked during the mandate of where the secretary to the Secretary of State to Africa, Tibonagi, was in place. And for those who have read a bit about Tibonagi from the 90s, he has always been a very iconic figure with a sharp vocabulary, who speaks a lot of things in diplomatic terms. And no one will forget that during his last visit in Cameroon, they gave the President of the Republic a picture of the 90, reminding him that it's been for some time now that he's been on power, and he has seen successively so many heads of states in America leave power while he is still on power. So following that line, it will take us now to the second fold, the U.S. gendarme role as far as human rights situation is concerned. And that is where most Cameroonians are fresh in their memory when the outgoing ambassador Henry went to the presidency at the Unity Palace and openly told the press after meeting Mr. Biya for an audience, came out and told the press that he has asked the head of state, as a friend, of course, not to represent himself during the just ended presidential election of 2018. And so it took so many Cameroonians, especially pundits of the regime, who thought that the Tutsi race could not be run without Mr. Biya, and so many people, especially the national press, reminded the United States of the sovereignty of Cameroon. A sovereignty, of course, that after some months, Cameroon was withdrawn some privileges because they have signed the AGOA treaty, the trade treaty that was putting Cameroon and the US in an exchange base where Cameroon have equally benefited a lot of economic empowerment and financial aid. I'm bringing all these aspects so that you should see that the US, through its ambassador, has just played its role, a role that they have been playing, and it is an opportunity for us to project ourselves in the future. The next ambassador that will be coming in might not be very different. And we are talking at the time that the US this year is having a presidential election, a major activity that they are playing. And you want to know that Henry Baravan has played a lot of role in the US. He has been in the US, former state personnel. He has worked at the White House in charge of complicated towns like California and other cities. And so he is surely needed back home for strategic reason, because the outgoing president of the United States, Donald Trump, need men that he can trust at this particular time, especially when we are gradually coming out of the George Floyd saga. He is, and that the reputation of the Republican is not very clear, it's blurred. And so at this point in time, he needs strong men that have helped him to conquer difficult territories, to come around him and share the strategies. And you know, we are talking at a context where Black Lives Matter. So I think that the mobility or the shifting of Henry Baravan at this particular point is not just it's not a mistake, it's not haphazard.
But don't you think that is a failure, maybe according to some pundits on the American side, given that even some papers in America were writing like America wanted to influence Cameroon, take over Cameroon through him, but it failed?
No. You know, freedom of expression has given leeway to every press organ to say what they feel and what they think. And so, following some editorial policy, especially those of the Democrats, they could as well make those kind of what I can call now utterances in favor of their political agenda.
Okay, I will be back to you. Let me come to Dr. Busi Ernest. You are welcome to the program today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mwambo William. I think that is our duty now to contribute to good governance and nation building. Mr. Williams, I want to really appreciate the consistency of my co-panelists, the CRM member, Mr. Njomo Cyril, and you and members of the TV house, the cameramen and the management of CMTV. I think that Mr. Moderator will have a lot to contribute for the welfare of Cameroon. And looking at the newspaper, there was a young gentleman who was always advocating on system media called Ernest Mwambo. Ernest Mwambo was advocating for one Cameroon, and he thought that the government of Cameroon was supposed to help him support his TV house, but the government did not do that. And I want to say that a new political party has been formed by Ernest Mwambo, a young politician. And I want to say that these young politicians, they should not only form political parties because they have selfish interests. Because
he's advocating for one
Cameroon. He's advocating, but we have seen young politicians who advocate for themselves, but they are not looking for the vision of tomorrow. So I think that people like Ernest Mwambo should be very honest with nation building and politics, because I've observed him for a while. And I've also observed the United Nations. I've looked at the papers. The United Nations is decrying the fact that some of their workers are being attacked in the northwest and southwest region. And the United Nations is saying that they are just there to protect vulnerable groups. And I think that the United Nations groups members should not be attacked in the northwest and southwest, because in conflict areas, they are there to help the vulnerable, because the youths are vulnerable, the women are vulnerable, parents are vulnerable. So they are there to protect and help these refugees.
Especially Doctors Without Borders.
Yes, there are many of them. There are many of them. Doctors Without Borders have been doing a lot since the Anglophone Crisis started. And I think that these UN groups should not be tempered with. They should be respected, because they are helping a lot of people who are vulnerable in the bushes. They are saving humanity, and they are risking their life. So I think that these US groups, they should be respected by both separatists and the military. And also, before I land, looking at the papers too, Donald Trump was saying that he has to evict all foreign students in his country because of the COVID-19 who are learning online through online measures. But recently, Donald Trump turned down his earlier explanations on that. So I want to say that Donald Trump should be a president that is consistent, because many at times I see Donald Trump fluctuating. He should behave like a politician. And I think that people like Donald Trump should know that they are the powerhouse of the world, and they should be very, before they take a decision, he should consult his vice president, because you cannot say, because of COVID-19, you are going to evict foreign students in your country because they are learning via online, except they register into face-to-face classroom. Those are not things that are good. And today also, Mr. Moderator, a meeting of deans and directors was held in the University of Buea, headed by the Vice Chancellor of the University of Buea. And looking at the evaluation of the second semester, we say that more than 80% was taught. And I think that the University of Buea is ready for examinations from the 21st of this month. And I think that the Vice Chancellor has been monitoring the affairs, has been doing a lot, and teachers have done their best to see that the university goes on very well, and the second semester ends, and the university will be starting their exams on the 21st. And we are pleading that our students this time, that they should avoid distractions. Our students should be serious. They should use study skills, and they should plan and read well and avoid examination malpractices and plagiarism. And I want to end by also saying that, Mr. Moderator, we did talk of the outgoing U.S. ambassador, and also today President Biya also had an audience with the Belgium ambassador that will be living out of the country. But I want to also applaud Peter Ballerin a bit, because I attended a Mandela Fellowship conference in Yaoundé that was selected. From about 5,000 of us applied for the conference, 400 of us were selected, and the ambassador really said that 400 of us who were selected, we should know that we have impacted life in Africa a lot and in our nations, and we should keep up, and we should fight for peace in our country. But I think that the ambassador failed to resolve the conflict, the issue of Wazizi, the journalist, because he was saying that those are one of the issues that he went to the presidency and saw President Biya. And we have not heard anything about the case of Wazizi. The journalist is dead, and we think that the ambassador has left. So what next about Wazizi? So I think that Mr. Ambassador, you have a lot to do, and the United States of America should bring peace in this country too, because they have been a bit advocating, but they're not doing anything. They see conflict. Like today, there was a battle in the northwest region in Akko between the separatist leaders and the separatists in the field and the military. So people are really in pain, Mr. Moderator. I would think that international organizations like the United Nations should intervene as fast as possible.
Maybe the next ambassador will be more vocal and vibrant, we don't know. But this time we see teachers on the streets, especially in Yaoundé, giving down, since most of them left school, they are almost retirement age, but no recruitment, so they are on the streets.
Mostly primary school teachers are advocating because having their campaign, they have not been employed by the state. But we think that it's true, they should be employed, because when you look at Cameroon, go to the north, Mr. Moderator, there are classes without teachers. You can go, there are some schools there are some primary school in Cameroon that when you go there, you will see only the headmaster. They have no teachers. So I think that these people should be employed, because when you look at primary education, I want to say that, Mr. Moderator, primary education has been neglected in Cameroon. That's the truth, whether we like it or not. And we should understand that primary education is the foundation of every education. So if we do not form the base, if the base is not solid, then the tertiary education will not have values. I would think that these primary schools also, they should be recruited. People who have gone to government teacher training colleges, they are not being recruited like people who have gone to ENS.
Yeah.
Because you live there, you wait till government launch a recruitment process. So we feel that government should absorb people who go to government teacher training colleges in primary school, so that we can have a good student-teacher ratio, because we don't have a good teacher-student ratio in our primary schools in Cameroon. We have neglected primary school education. It is the foundation where the child has to be built mentally, psychosocially, emotionally, intellectually, and stable. Because when you look at education at the base, if it's not solid, will build a country where we will not have values. Because our primary school education determines the kind of persons who have, the quality of persons who have in secondary and tertiary education. So we need qualified teachers to teach our children so that we can transform our society.
Yeah, we have that. We'll still talk about it in one of our topics. But lastly, just for a few seconds, congratulations. So many people say this time, Cameroon.
Please, there's one thing
yes,
before we go to my learned friend. I followed the interview of the mayor of Buea.
Okay.
And he was saying that they are saying that he had to seal shops in Buea, and they want street lights, and they don't want to open their shops on Monday. And I want to say that, Mr. Moderator, thanks for the 100 days that we talk about the mayor and we emphasize on issues of street light. And thank God that I follow the interview of the mayor of Buea on the sister media, and he had to talk on the issue of street light. So the 100 days that we explained here had yielded a lot of fruits.
Yes, he did. And some people say he has decided to go the Ekema way, that so many rules and regulations put in place by Ekema, he has decided to follow, like paying of 25,000 francs if your shop is locked.
I saw that too on the social media.
Okay, Mr. Njomo Cyril, the most corrupt countries in the world, this time Cameroon, did not appear. The first three, we have Colombia, Mexico, Ghana. And when it was being read, some people were expecting to hear Cameroon. Is it not something to write home with?
That Ghana features among the first three most corrupt countries in the world actually poses me a lot of problems. Yes. In 1997, Cameroon was the first most corrupt country in the world.
Yeah.
And 23 years after, if you expect that we should still be on the same spot, then those who are thinking like that should be part of those who they say they don't like Cameroon.
Okay.
So for those of us who is it like or love? Who
All
love
of them.
Cameroon, we should be happy that we have moved an inch.
Okay.
But now, let's dissect a bit for 2 seconds on the case of Ghana.
Yeah.
Do we not always take example in this country that why is our leadership not like the Ghana case? even though it's not been 6 months that we had some utterances that took place at the Ghana Football Federation, where the president has recorded over 10 years of fund embezzlement, and he was shipped directly to the prison. So what it brings back to us here is the fight against corruption is truly a cankerworm that have attacked so many African countries, and sometimes instead of pointing fingers, we should try to be a solution. We should try to be those who are going to refrain from corrupt practices. Yeah. I will end that process there. As for Colombia and Mexico, they are countries that already have gross cases of human rights abuses.
Yeah.
I want to take a case that I master a bit, Mexico. With the COVID-19, Mexico is one of those countries that have recorded one of the highest rates of death rate in North America. And this is caused because the social class distinction there is
very wide.
Where it's really wide. The gap between the
rich, the poor,
the
bourgeoisie.
The bourgeoisie, that's the word
farmers,
I was looking for, yes. And the layman is really, really cut apart. You have families that the whole of their generation have not known any ascendant into
high
public
places.
services. I mean, complete families. It means that in Cameroon we have been able at least to do what they call regional equalities, where sometimes even communities that do not merit to pass certain concours are being favored through the quota system.
Thanks to the head of state.
What are you talking about? So, I was trying to explain something, but before I drop that case, please permit me comment a bit about teachers that are striking in Yaoundé.
Okay.
It is not our making that they are not employed. I totally agree with my learned colleague, panelists on the platform, that there are schools in the northern part of the country, even here in the southwest, even in the northwest, without teachers or with high student-teacher ratio. But just that in our ministry, especially the prime ministry, we have fund, what they call in French, bailleurs de fonds. Okay. Those, for example, the Islamic group, the African Development Bank, the World Bank, they have their offices there, and earlier in this platform, except for those who are watching us for the first time, told them that their role there is to cross-check the number of employment opportunities that comes from the ministries. They are the ones that scrutinize and publish the final number that will be recruited through concourse. No, when I was talking like that, I'm not guessing. It's investigation. So, primary school can submit that they need 3,000 teachers. But they go through and see the amount of money, debt that is accumulating on us, and say that no, this is not the number that your paycheck can support now. Take but 5, take but 10, take but 15, and you will always have. But secondly, I want to ask those who train this teacher, what is the content of the curriculum? Is the end product forcefully supposed to be absorbed by the government?
Okay, Mr. Njomo Cyril, let me just say that since it is on the same line, the first topic, can we just take the first topic, which is on education, the certificate examination